Hello everyone, welcome back. So till this point, we have completed the showing the single post. Like if I click on this, it's going to redirect me to another page where I can see this post specific and I can see the comments as well. And in this video, we are going to implement the story functionality. So let's just jump into it. Um, Before I jump into the story section, we have one thing to be fixed. As you can see, the images are still having this issue. And if I open that in the new tab, this actually the asset storage is missing from the home um, blade file. So as you can see here, I have to add that. So I am going to select all of the profiles, like profile thing. So we have just one, that is cool. I can do that directly here. So adding slash and asset storage, and then we have one in the create post as well. So I am going to go to the create post blade file, and here we will find the profile, as you can see. So this is also gonna be like that. So asset storage, um storage. If somehow this is not loading, it's gonna show the default message. So if I refresh, that's gonna work. Now when talking about the story section, if I come to the home, I will search for story, stories, um, stories, where we have that. So I think they are in the we have the create post, right? So this is the story section. So I am thinking about creating a component for this, and we will place this over there. So I am going to create a Laravel component. So PHP addition make livewire, and we can place that in components directory. So components, components slash let's say stories dot stories. Yeah, stories is fine, or story, yeah, stories. Let's and start the server again and come here, cut this, and add that right here. So components dot stories, and now if I go to that component, okay, file of is renew, please compare. Okay, compare it what we have. Yeah, I deleted some part, so that is it, like the story part. I'm going to save this, overwrite this, go to stories, blade file, component, where it's right here. So I am going to paste it, and here we have two components, create post and stories. Now I am we have included that right here, right? So that should display the default UI as we have by default, and we can confirm that as well. Oh, asset has a spelling mistake, so let's fix that asset, and let's see if the um, icon is an issue, because we moved that to a separate component, so we have to include that over there as well. I'm gonna copy it from here and come here, and at the top I am going to include that. um, I have to do it this way. In Livewire, this the rules is like you have to create one upper container, and all of the stuff will go inside that container. So that's why I have to do this inside um, um inside in a div. So let's see if the story section is still loaded, and yeah, it's loaded. Now we have to work on creating that thing, and as you can see, the images are now loaded in the home file as well. So here we have the add story, right? So this will be like input type file, and when you click on that, you will be able to upload images, and maybe we can upload videos as well. Like if I refresh, here one of these is like video, and the algorithm about this will be also like user will be able to see their friends stories. And for now we don't have to talk about that. We will implement that once we have the basic functionality. And here we'll go all the stories. First we have to work on creating a story. So I am going to add input type pile right here, and this is going to have like story ideas story. Then we can add like wire model dot maybe lazy, or just wire model equals to story. And we have to something like style that, because as you can see it's going to be showing off right here. But if you click on this, we want that like we want that input type file to pop up. So for that I am going to add class here. Let's say upload story wrapper, and I'm going to some add some basic style here, and this is going to be btn. And this is just like to hide that inside this button, hide that input type file. As you can see, we are targeting it for that thing. And then here this is like preloader, right? We have to add the preloader somewhere. Let's see that how does that looks like. Now looks pretty much the same. If I click on the plus icon, it's going to pop up like I can choose a file, and we can validate that like only allowing images. So now we have to work on the uh, component. So if I go to story, livewire component, story comment, story component, um, where is that? Let's go to post home. We will find that inside components and the story. Here we will have a public variable, that is story, and public variable. Then we will have, why is this throwing error like? So like we have the story method, right? So what we will do is like whenever you add some images, then we will like store those in the database, and like that will be considered your story. So as you can see, we don't have any palm submission here. So what we are going to do is like use the life cycle hooks of livewire. So if I search for life cycle cycle hooks livewire, there are some like methods that are called when some events is occur. Like what I want to do is whenever I click on this, I am able to like choose some image, right, as a story. So what I want to do is whenever I like choose that, I'm done with choosing images or stories, then like this should upload those to the server and return that as my story. For that we have some different lifecycle hooks. As you can see, what I'm interested in is the updated. As you can see here, runs after a property called foo is updated. So we can use the updating as well, but I'm gonna go with this one. And I am going to come here. As you can see, we have story, so we will do like updated story. We will create a method with that name, and whenever um, the story attribute is updated, this is going to be called automatically. So instead of foo, I'm going to call story. Now as you can see, the naming convention, the first letter is in capital of the variable, and then that. So once we call this method here, we will store that in the story. We have story model, right? So we will store that over there and return that, and then we will loop through all of them and display them in the UI. But another thing, like in we can like say like the structure or like kind of algorithm we have to add is like here, let's say load. We have like each section is like for each user. As you can see, this user might have multiple stories, right? um, but like this will be it's also not working. We will check it from the UI. Like if I click on this, it should display that story. Each user might have multiple images uploaded as their stories, right? So we have to, like, when you click on this, it should open up some pop-up, and where we should we be able to see all of their all of this user stories, and we can like scroll down as well like this. um, what I'm going to do is let's store them first, and then we will look at that thing. So here we have the story model, right? So if I see story, as you can see, we have the story model, and it has story itself status likes and comments. So what I'm going to do is create story, but we can validate that as well. Like you can upload stories as images, and we can add that as a client side validation as well. Like we have input type file, right? We have the accept attribute, and here I'm going to pass png files, jpg files, and jp jpg and jpeg and jpg. Okay. JPG. You can like pass the in the accept attribute. You can pass the types that you want to accept from the user. We just only allow images here, and after that, once we have the images, we can add server-side validation for that as well. So like validation would be like this dot validate, and here we can pass story, and I think this should be like stories because you can one user can have many stories. I think this should be images because we only allow images type of stories. So let's change that. Um, images, and this is going to be images, and this should be images, and here we should set that as images because we only allow image type of stories. And here this is going to be let's say required, and except mem types. Yeah, we can like set the mem types, mems, yeah, mems, png, jpg, and jpeg, and stuff like that. And then these are multiple images, so we can check, we can loop through them, and then like store them one by one, json decode them, and store them in the database. So we can use for each loop, for each dollar request of images images as image. Then come here and let's create a variable. I think we can add if statement here, like if request images, or if statement if request images. We can also say like if request of pile images. This also gonna work. So then loop through all of them, but here we will create a variable, and we have some error like this. And let's say the variable name is images itself. This is local variable, right? And then loop through each image that is coming from the in the request, store that, and like dollar images, um, this is an array, right? So equal to, we have to set that array, empty array, and then store that. So dollar request of now we have image, dollar image, and then store that in the storage directory, and this is going to be public. And after that we will have to json encode that. Oh, this is not request, actually this is this of images, because we are not in controller, we are in livewire component. So sorry for that. This of dollar images, and the same right here. Wait a minute. This of images, and store that and return that, and here we will just encode that and create a record in the database. So we will do something like, I think we don't need this because it's required, so we will do it this way. After that, create story. So story model, import that, and then create. Here you have some different fields, right? So I'm gonna copy that from here and paste it like so, and assign values to them. So and here we will have the user ID is gonna be auth ID, which is the authentic user ID. The story is going to be like the JSON encoded that data. So we're gonna JSON encode. It's the passing the dollar images variable that is in array, and then the status, I think that is by default 0. You can confirm them from the create stories table. Stories, it doesn't pulls up, so the status is gonna be by default, we can set this to like 1. Like what I want to do is like after 24 hours the story will be gone. So maybe we can delete the story manually. Maybe we can make like track the stories, and it will be only published for 24 hours, and after that it's going to be stored in the user profile section, only visible to that specific user. So let's say 1, and once the time is over then we will set that to 0. And likes and comments are, I guess, by default 0, so we don't need to do anything with that. And that is it. We will create stories like that, and after that we have what we have to do. We have to like display them, right? So let's try that actually. Let's see if that's gonna work. So I'm gonna come here and refresh. So I'm clicking on plus icon. I am going to choose some images. Let's say for, okay, I'm not able to choose multiple. So I am, and also we have to use with file upload, because we have file upload functionality. So use, no, not like this. So with, I think we can import that with file upload, yeah, and import that at the top. And then we have to use multiple, because we allow multiple images. Multiple. Let's try that out. I will click on add story. I am going to add some stories, and it's going to throw in error, file upload thread component stories component class can't handle. Okay, where is the issue? Well, let's say, let's dd if we are till this point. Like I will do dollar this of images, and I hit a semicolon. Let's refresh and see if still throws an error. I'm gonna choose 3 images. Also we can like add the loading option here. So when it's loading, story not found. Okay, public property story not found. It's not even like die dumping. Okay, it's okay. Change the name, but didn't change this thing. We have to add like the loading option. So I'm gonna paste that. As you can see here, we are targeting the images target thing, and then while loading, and then preloader, that is gonna be like a loader showing some loading. Choose story 3. You see the loading, and yeah, this time it worked. So we have to store them and return them. So I'm gonna remove the die dump. The die dump, yeah. So choose story. Let's say 3 images or 4 images or 5 images. Can we don't have set any limit, so you can upload it as many as you want. Seems like they are like uploaded. Now let's work on viewing the story, because in the template I guess we have the functionality. Like if you click on this, it's going to display those stories to you. So I am going to open the file explorer, go to that template. So I'm gonna it's stored in in my system like public storage, then template, and here I think I can open the default file, default.html, and let's say I'm gonna click on this. As you can see, this is what we want, right? So if I click again, yeah, as you can see, this functionality. So we need to use this kind of functionality over there. As you can see, it's gonna automatically go to the next slide kind of thing. So let's use this HTML. So I'm going to open that in the code editor, and we will copy that code from there and use it in our template, in our Blade file, and start the server again. Don't forget about it. So I will search for this thing, but how can I do? As you can see here, we have the comment thing as well. I am going to search for write your comments, but it's not found. What? How is it impossible? Write comments. Is it right? Yeah, this is it. So write comments. It's this kind of thing. So this seems to be. Where is it? As you can see, this is somewhere at the footer. As you can see, right chat, and after that we have this thing. So the right chat, where is the right chat? We don't see any right chat. So maybe we can like try this, because as you can see, this is a static code, and the for each of that story, like for all of the stories, they are having this kind of thing, like the same thing. So this is the HTML for that. I'm going to move that to the stories component, and I am thinking about like how we can implement this, because if we look to this, we will these are the stories, right? Item 1 and item 2 and item 3 and so on, right? Let's remove. Let's do one thing. I have to like display the story. The first one will be like displayed directly right here, and the rest of them will be like displayed in the next, like when you click on that, then the rest of them will be displayed. So first we have to load the stories. I'm going to come to this component, and in the render method I am going to pass the stories. Let's say stories. We already have one story, right? No, it's images. Okay, that's fine. So calling the story model, we already have imported it. So for now, as I mentioned before, we will have an algorithm. Let me write it down. um, have an algorithm which will show me my friends stories, this kind of thing. Like you will only be able to see your friends stories, and then stories, and let get that by latest. For now we're gonna get all of them. Also, like we can group them by user, like like as I mentioned before, it should be like uniquely by user. So um, we can like we have the unique method, right? Is that gonna work here? So not unique ID, um, unique, and passing the user ID. Now, as I mentioned before, here we will have the condition like only show the last 24 days, last 24 hours stories, right? After that, it's going to be expired and not be show will be shown to the users. So we will have that condition as well. But for now, we are loading the stories unique by user. I mean, like only one per user, and let's add that condition as well. Like we will use the created and check if there's any unique. So where here we will have like created at, and then here we're gonna use carbon, like checking the ads, and then maybe like now, then like here we will have like we can check that like if the created it. Let me open up the tinker what I'm trying to explain. Please person tinker like the past 24 hours, right? So we have the now method, the carbon method, that is now, like just like we have the past and last, something like that. So if I call the now, it's going to return the current date. But if I do like subday, it's going to return, like as you can see from here, this is a previous day of current time, right? As you can see, 10th and night. So this is like 24 hours back. So that is what we have to check. So like the posts that are like um, the created it is like less than um, the previous 24 hours. That is what I mean. So here we will have something like greater than equal to, and then that thing like now, add a comma, and then now, and then subday. So that will get only the first 24 hours post, then get the my latest, and then unique by user ID. So if I diagram this, it's gonna, I guess, return the one that we just created because we are not excluding that one. Where is the code editor tinker? Yeah. So if I execute this, okay, we have an issue. Let's just get them. Still empty. Let's reverse the condition. Still empty. Let's see if we have any story though. Get all of them. Okay, story is not stored. We did store them, but somehow let's serve the application and see. So if I come like if I here check, as you can see here we are just decoding the data and storing that, but somehow it's not stored. Let's try that again. Actually, let's store that again, and let's see the story folder as well if we have any images or something like that over there. So I'm gonna go public, then storage. We don't have any story folder. That's interesting. Let's see in the storage app. No, it's not stored at all. So let's try that again. Maybe we have something wrong. It's not even throwing error. So, and also after the story is stored, then we have to like to apply the effects, we will have to refresh the page and unset this variable. So unset dollar this up images, and I guess that is going to be done automatically. Like we are already on the route, right? So we can like in order to refresh the page, we can redirect to the route redirect to the slash URL and remove the return. And let's see. So if like if the page was refreshed, which means our data will be stored in the story model, but if doesn't, the data will be not stored. So I'm gonna choose some images like this. It's loading, and the loading is now stopped, and nothing happened, which means that method is not even called. Like You can dd the images. This right here. Oh, maybe we have issue right here. Memes of this type. What are the memes type of? These are PNGs, right? So I'm uploading PNGs image. Uh, this should work by the way. Let's remove the validation for now because we want it to work and it's not working. You can try that. Um, Try to do it as quickly as possible. I am going to add story, clicking on multiple stories, let's say 4 at a time, and it's loading. Uh, Now it's interesting. Types null, unsupported operand. Okay. Yeah, this is like plus equals to not like it's just equal to because we are like appending array element. So let's try that again actually. Mm, I'm going to choose multiple images, open them, it's loading, mean uploading this, and yeah, this time it works. The images are now, the page is refreshed, which means it worked, and hopefully now we can go to the stories and let's remove that. Here we are gonna loop through the main display. So for each dollar, and yeah, I was testing that condition. Is this gonna work or not? Let's see. So dollar stories is dollar story, and for each of that do this thing, and we are gonna do nothing when we don't have anything. So I'm going to refresh the page, and this time it should have only one. Yeah, that works fine. But yeah, that works. That's great. So now, here we have to do some different things, right? The first one is like set the background. So we have to JSON decode then and import it like so. So what I'm going to do is we have the story variable, right? So I'm going to call the JSON underscore decode, not code, decode, and passing the dollar story of what we have. The name is like story. And how do we call the first one? I guess that returns an array. We can directly pass the zero index. And also we have to do one thing else, and that is like asset storage. And let's confirm that from the storage. So if I go to public folder storage and stories, yeah, this time we have stories so saved in the database. So I can asset store like asset uh, concatenating that with the forward slash, and this is going to be storage, and now it should display that. Also we have the user profile, so we can automatically do that as well. And to do that we have this relationship. So if I go to the story model, it does have relationship to the user. So the other story has user and it has profile, and here we have to set the asset storage. So asset get append that storage like this, format this, and refresh the page, and let's see how this is going to look like. So as you can see now, it's looking good. We have to change the name as well, and this is going to be the username. So dollar story has relationship to the user, and user has username in which we are going to display. And now as you can see here, we are going to like database target as data story model, right? We have to like open that whenever you click on this. But we have multiple like stories. So for that thing, we have to do one thing. Maybe like if I go back, uh, here is it. I'm gonna copy it. Maybe I can paste that right here because it's a model, so it's not gonna be displayed. One thing like here, as you can see, these things. This is what I am thinking about. Like we have 5 stories at a time, and when you click on that, it's going to be like next, 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 and then end. So what I'm going to do is loop through them and display that right here. But how do we like story model, and we don't have like one, we have multiple stories right here. So for that, I'm going to change the ID actually, and that's hopefully that's gonna work for me. So we have two, right? If I control F that, we have three. Wait a minute. Story is right here, and this is a model. Uh, this is the with the plus icon. When you click on that, that's gonna be piled. I can remove this because no need for that, because we don't want to show any model when you click on add story button. We want to show like the pile icon, and you should be able to add stories in upload images. So now we have two places. This thing I can like use the user UUID either or something like that to set that as a model. So I'm gonna try that. Why I have selected both of them, right? So let me confirm that. Yeah, and then I'm gonna use this thing, and then story of, I can use the ID as well, but for each of the user we will have unique UUID. So story, and then has user and it has UUID. And after that, here we have multiple stories, right? Images. So we have to loop through the stories images, and then we're gonna do that like for each dollar. We have to JSON decode that. Yeah, JSON decode dollar story of story, and store that in the story variable, and then come here and do one thing, that is for each of the story display that like so. So definitely we will need storage asset, because it's not going to display anything without that. It's going to throw error. And here we will like call the story. So let's try that out. Let's see if that's working properly or not. Also we have the icon missing, but let's where is the icon? Write comment, and then feather and send, right? So we can call this icon, um, I can like add the icon tag, and here I am going to call that icon. So dollar icons, dollar get icon, um, G with the small, and then send icon. So let's try that out. I'm gonna refresh the page. Hopefully no error. And if I click, something's gonna happen, but it shows nothing, which means something seems to be wrong with that. Let's see. So if I go to the source console, does console has an error? 404. If I come here, let's refresh the page, and if I focus on this thing, let's see if we have the, as you can see, the ID is loaded successfully, but we have some issue due to which it's not loading the thing. Let's see if the images are loaded. Where are the images? This is the comment section, and I think they are right here. No, what are these? Oh yeah, they are loaded by the way, but why we are not able to like see that? Just like we are able to do that like right here. If I do that, as you can see here we have. But if I do that right here, it's not gonna work. Let's review the code. So in that case, the UUID is like this was at the footer as we saw in the code of this default.html file. Like as you can see, this is at the footer, not somewhere at the top. Maybe we have to load that at the footer and use our algorithm to do the same thing for that. So we can try that one as well to make this work. So I am going to do where I am. I have to do it there. So what I'm going to do is here somewhere right here, um, I am going to cut this from here and I'm going to go to the app.blade.php. That is the main route, and at the footer I am going to add that and apply my condition and cut and stuff like that. So I'm going to pass that, and we'll have to loop through them because we are using the UUID of the user to display that for each user. So I'm going to go back to the story model component, come here and copy this condition and apply that right here. So for each of instead of like this, stories is like where I am app.get.php. Yes. So I'm going to loop through that and like dollar, let's say story, and then it do there for each of that story. So let's format that. Here we have the same thing, right? Story for looping through each of their story and creating a model for that. And it's the same thing. And this ID that we are calling is used in that story model that is right here. Maybe we can create another component for this, but for now, hopefully this is gonna work and we can try that. So I'm going to refresh the page and let's see. Okay, we have an issue here. We have to use complete path in order to make them work in the blade file. So that is app models, and let's refresh again. All right, another issue, that is models. My bad. Icons issue. Interesting. So we haven't imported the icons at a time. So let's do one thing. Let's copy it from here and import that in this file as well. So this time we should have no error. And yeah, we do not have any error, so that's cool. So hopefully if I click now, okay, that is interesting. This thing does works, but we have the same issue as we have like seeing so far in this series, and that is like loading the icons code instead of like the actual icon. And I'm always forgetting this syntax that is returning like that returns, and also we have the cross icon missing. It returns the code and I have to display that. Let's see the cross icon. Tie close, yeah, it's right here. So we can do that. And this time I have this thing in mind. So I'm not gonna make a mistake right here. Icons of get icon icon and passing the close as icon. So hopefully this is gonna work. And let's okay, close icon doesn't exist. Maybe we can do something like I should have close icon by the way. but let's use a capital X for that, because it also looks like a cross icon. So no error, and it's time for testing. So I'm gonna click on that, and as you can see, the width is based on the width of the story image, right? So that's why it shows it like this. For this one, it's like to like the the short type of image, so that's why it's showing that like that. So our images, like are like the thumbnail kind of images, so it's that's why it shows that like and like if I take a screenshot or take a photo of this style, like this kind of style, so it's going to display as like this one that we see in the tablet. So hopefully that works now. We can like move on with the comment section, and after that, like we will implement that in the next tutorial, because it's been like an hour we are talking about this. So thank you for watching. If you have any query, you can throw them in the comments below. I'm gonna be happy to answer any question. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.